Is a serial killer police never caught killing again? Inside Edition, straight ahead.
Got the interview.
Next flight to Chicago.
Zoom in. Good.
In the 80s, this strip of Seattle highway was the hunting ground for a serial killer. 49 young girls murdered and all thought to be victims of the same madman.
You know, why can't you solve that when there's that many dead bodies?
But now a rash of new disappearances has many terrified that the Green River Killer is back.
Just one question.
You gotta go live. He's called himself a doctor, an astronaut, and a candidate for mayor. But Robert Hunt's real skills are as a smooth-talking con man.
I can convince you of anything. I mean, it's just so easy.
Now, the U.S. military is his latest victim. It gave this imposter top-secret military clearance.
Let's go.
Stand by.
Malibu Beach, playground for the rich and famous. But now it's home to a new breed of surfer.
Instead of playing golf and tennis, I do surfing.
Today, meet the Hollywood movers and shakers who are passing up power breakfast for hanging 10.
2, 1. Hello, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching Inside Edition today. His many careers have dazzled people across the country. There's only one problem. He's an imposter, big time. Also coming up, we will introduce you to some Hollywood heavyweights who trade in their three-piece suits for surfing jams. But first, our headline story. A vicious killer whom the police cannot catch. They call him the Green River Killer, and he is believed responsible for murdering 49 women. For a while, this maniac was quiet, but now, as Janet Tamaro reports, some cops think he is back with a vengeance.
From 1982 to 1984, one man terrorized a city. 41 bodies, all women, all from the Seattle area, dumped like so much garbage. And at least 8 more presumed to be his victims, whose bodies were never found. Though most were found in remote wooded areas, the first 4 women were found floating in Seattle's Green River.
In 1984, when the Green River Task Force was formed, investigators still thought they only had 13 serial killings, when in fact the Green River Killer had already murdered 47 of his 49 victims. Their bodies just hadn't been found yet.
And then one day, the killings stopped, or so police assured the public.
Seattle does think that he's gone. I disagree that he left. I think he could be killing and hiding them better.
Tomas Guillen has been covering the Green River killings for 8 years and is the author of the book, The Search for the Green River Killer.
I think police, when they disbanded the task force and decided to go and do something else, they told everyone that the Green River Killer had left, that he had died or whatever. I don't think there's been proof that he has left.
Guillen says in addition to hundreds of women who are missing, there have been at least 40 recent unsolved murders.
16-year-old Sarah Habakangas was one. Her strangled body was found in late 1991.
Maybe because we've had the serial killing here for so long that we've just sort of become accustomed to it. That, gee, that's just sort of the way it is here in the Northwest.
If you start looking at some of the disappearances in the last year and a half, then you really start getting worried because they're disappearing from the Strip again in the numbers that they were back in the mid-'80s when he was active.
Its image and name have changed, but during the 1980s, this stretch of highway leading south from the Seattle-Tacoma airport was known as the SeaTac Strip. It was like an open-air market for motorists looking to pick up young female prostitutes. That is until July of 1982, when this strip became the hunting grounds for the Green River Killer.
Many of his victims were teenagers. Kimmy K. Pitzer was just 15. Carrie Roy was 16, and there were many, many more. All someone's daughter, sister, even mother. All were strangled, then taken to remote areas. Many of the bodies have yet to be discovered. Those that were found had been there so long, there was no evidence left to assist detectives.
They're not easy. They're very frustrating. They're very complicated. There's minute piece of evidence to include body parts, trace evidence and so forth.
But Sheriff Jim Sharp isn't talking about the Green River killings in the past. He's talking about a string of 11 recent potential serial killings in his own county, just miles from the Green River killings. Sharp is the only law enforcement officer in the Seattle area who would voice to us publicly what many reportedly feel privately.
I see a reluctance to really become involved because they're too complicated to solve, and therefore why should we expend the resources?
The first time around, 55 Green River Task Force detectives and FBI agents spent $16 million of taxpayers' money, doing everything they could in a frustrating series of dead ends.
It is not a simple task.
King County Sheriff James Montgomery, who eventually scaled the Green River Task Force from 55 detectives to just 2, says there's no evidence a serial killer is at work today, and there are no plans to increase manpower.
And I'm as convinced as I can be of anything that just simply throwing money at something is not going to necessarily resolve the case.
Could it be that it was such an embarrassment to King County Police that these murders were never solved, that nobody wants to admit that there's another serial killer at work here, whether or not it's the Green River Killer?
No, that's not the case. This department has never shied away from the fact that we've got, a significant number of unsolved homicides, and that we think are exercising a reasonable response to the level of these homicides.
But Guillen says the similarities are too obvious to ignore. Most of the new victims have ties to prostitution. At least 5 were dumped in the sites the Green River Killer used. And a ruthless murder of a pregnant woman resembles the death of 18-year-old Mary Meehan, 8 months pregnant when she was strangled in 1982.
I think that's very bizarre. That's very unusual, very eerie, and that's what troubles me.
Here's all the newspaper articles about when Sarah was killed.
Relatives of the new victims are troubled too.
For them to say, we have 40-plus murdered women and we can't find the killer, that it's, people are going to say, geez, why not? Why can't you solve that when there's that many dead bodies?
I think you have to consider who are the victims. If one were inclined to kill women, the easiest group of women to kill would be prostitutes. Adding to that, this particular area has a tremendous amount of remote area in which one can do the dirty deeds and can dispose of the bodies in relative anonymity. That victim, in this case, that street prostitute, is taking her life in real peril.
Sounds to me like you're saying if you're going to, you work at your own risk if you're a prostitute.
That's correct.
It's given a message that if you're a serial killer, you can come to the Pacific Northwest and murder prostitutes, and we're not going to do a whole lot to try to catch you.
How do you stop that appetite? You don't. He might have moved and has killed someplace else, but I think this is home, and if not all these bodies are his, I think some are.
And while authorities are still pursuing every lead, as yet there have been no breaks in this case. And coming next, how did an imposter fool the Army and get into a top-secret facility?
Are you the imposter?
I'm the imposter. If you tell somebody, oh, hi, I'm Captain Hunt, I'm the astronaut, if they're that gullible, that's life.
We here at Hardee's have a little quiz for you. What do you think of when I say New York? Right, that great tasting New York rye. And how about when I say big? Right again, Hardee's thick quarter-pound burger. How about exciting? Sauteed onions, crisp bacon, and 3 kinds of cheese. Well, that's Hardee's new New York Patty Melt. So now when I say New York Patty Melt, what do you think of? Right, which leaves only one more question.
Are you ready for some real food? Hardee's.
Don't miss the July 4th savings extravaganza going on now at Slumberland Furniture. A record-breaking sale on everything in the store, like this queen-size pine bed by Broyhill, impossibly priced at just $199. Gorgeous leather, as low as $499. Your choice of chairs at just $179. Every brand-name mattress is reduced. Save 40, 50, up to 60% on twin, full, queen, and king. Plus day beds, bunk beds, bedrooms, even complete room groups. But our biggest July 4th sale ever ends Saturday at Slumberland Furniture.
At Treasure Island, if you're playing Monday to Friday between 3 p.m. and 10 p.m., you may experience a cash tornado. More ways to play and win at Treasure Island Casino. At Treasure Island Casino, find a gold doubloon and it's worth $20. Plus a chance at a new water toy. More ways to play and win at Treasure Island Casino.
Severe weather could mean life or death.
County. This tornado is moving north-northeast at 30 to 35 miles an hour.
So when it comes to the weather, we're not messing around. You can count on Weather Center 4 to give you the severe weather information you need. The most sophisticated technology in the upper Midwest. The most qualified team of trained meteorologists. You won't miss a thing when it comes to up-to-the-minute weather information. Mike Fairborn, Rebecca Coles, and Matt Balow. Weather Center 4, the technology, the team.
For more than 3 years, Inside Edition has been following the escapades of a con man named Robert Hunt. He breezes into town, dazzles the locals by claiming to be an astronaut or a war hero, then moves on. Well, he struck again, this time in San Francisco. Scott Rappaport has the latest.
The Navy SEALs are an elite fighting group assigned nothing but the most important and dangerous missions. To be a Navy SEAL, you need to be strong and brave. The SEALs are led by the finest men the Navy has to offer. Men like Lieutenant Commander Robert Hunt.
Everyone knows what the SEAL team is. You know, it's the elite of the elite.
As a member of this illustrious unit, Hunt was highly decorated.
Silver Star. I got in Kuwait. Purple Heart. I got in the Operation Just Cause in Panama. Presidential Unit Citation.
Robert Hunt has also had a host of other fantastic jobs. He says he was an astronaut. He says he was a doctor. And he even ran for mayor. The problem is that Hunt isn't an astronaut. He isn't a doctor. And he is not a lieutenant commander. He certainly didn't earn all those impressive medals. This mysterious man got the medals the same way he got his Navy uniform. He just pretended to be an officer and picked up the phone.
Called the Naval Uniform Support Center and mailed them right out to me. It was as simple as that.
You see, Robert Hunt is a fraud, a con man, and a very good one at that. He enjoys the thrill of pretending to be an important person. Hunt has tricked countless people over the years.
I can convince you of anything. I mean, it's just so easy.
Last year, Hunt pulled off his biggest stunt by fooling some high-ranking officers at the Presidio Army base in San Francisco. They thought he was a Navy officer on special assignment, complete with top-secret clearance.
I had housing, had a vehicle, and I had an office at 6th Army headquarters.
But this time, Hunt's little charade got serious. As a Navy officer, he was given complete run of the base, including some very sensitive areas. Hunt says he had access to the very core of the Army's military intelligence.
I was in a EOC, which is an Emergency Operations Center, a war room. Basically, that's what it is. It's a war room. And this is where they develop plans for our country.
Now, it wasn't just the military that fell for Hunt's game. He could work his magic on just about anyone. This woman married him just 2 weeks after they met.
He was very convincing as to who he was, what he did, what he had.
Sharon Hunt was so caught up in the glitter of her husband's position that she didn't suspect a thing. And she had no idea that she was Hunt's 5th wife. But she shouldn't feel so bad. Hunt's made a career out of this. He first made national headlines 4 years ago when he was going around Boston claiming to be a shuttle astronaut.
3, 2, 1, SRB ignition and liftoff.
It's nice to be treated in a different way. And if you tell somebody, oh, hi, I'm Captain Hunt, I'm the astronaut, if the people don't know who their astronauts are and they're that gullible, you know, that's life.
At the time, Hunt had an array of military and space paraphernalia, including this authentic NASA helmet personally inscribed. Police say he used the equipment to convince people that he was the real deal, and most fell for it.
As soon as something was starting to set funny with me, if something would happen to prove it, he'd come up with another prop.
Ann Sweeney, Robert's 4th wife, was one of the people most hurt by him. She thought she married a distinguished astronaut, but instead found herself wed to an imposter who rang up some $40,000 in charges on her credit cards. It was all part of Robert Hunt's continuing pattern of living off other people.
I had no idea about this. I was married to this wonderful person, and as I was informed of all these things in his background and, you know, with hard, solid proof, you know, everything was like watching him die.
Hunt's most daring move came when he addressed a 70-member aviation club. He even brought along pictures to autograph.
Some women giving him a kiss. One of our members gave him a kiss because she thought he was so great.
Hunt was arrested and served time for fraud and divorced him. But when he was sprung, he shocked just about everyone by running for mayor in the town of Revere, Massachusetts.
Are you the imposter?
I'm the imposter.
It was yet another outrageous move by a man who seemed to have no limits. Well, needless to say, Hunt was not elected. He says he then headed to the city by the bay in search of a new life, his days as the great imposter behind him. But that all changed when he couldn't find work or an apartment. He turned to the Navy for help by ordering a uniform.
Before I knew it, someone was making a phone call and telling me to report to the Presidio, and I didn't even know where that was.
Once inside the base, Hunt even had the nerve to write his own promotion orders.
In fact, I was going to have two colonels promote me that were friends of mine that were in the BOQ, but instead I had two captains promote me.
Hunt recalls the excitement of working in the center of military action.
It was like watching the movie War Games. I mean, it was a tense situation. It was like being in some place where people are somebody. Very important.
Hunt even showed off his prestigious office to his new wife.
On 3 occasions, I actually went in the war room myself and met with different colonels and commanders, and actually was serving hot apple pie to these men.
Hunt says that by infiltrating the Army's war room, he was actually teaching the Army a security lesson.
I'm putting a big question mark to our government. If I can do it, how do I know that someone else out there isn't a KGB agent or Czechoslovakian or with the Mossad? How do I know?
Well, the military eventually caught on to Robert Hunt. But Hunt says this time his conning days are really over. He says because of his love for Sharon and his fear of a long jail term, he's turning over a new leaf. Still, as he walked out of jail, it sounds as if authorities had their doubts.
They thought I was going to walk out with one of their uniforms and run to jail.
By the way, Robert Hunt told us that most of the information he needed to pull off his scams came from books, TV, and movies. Still to come as Inside Edition continues, we will go surfing with some big kahunas in three-piece suits.
Everybody had an ocean across the USA.
Try to keep the mind and body healthy and try to keep the stress away from consuming your life.
On Monday, Jane Mansfield's family breaks its silence.
His beautiful piano albums have sold in the millions. TV and recording star Floyd Kramer. Now, Heartland Music presents Floyd Kramer in an all-new collection of his most beautiful recordings ever. Floyd has a special piano style that makes every song so warm and relaxing. You'll get two beautiful albums. From smooth, easy favorites to today's most beautiful songs, you'll love these all-new recordings. But this special Floyd Kramer collection is not in stores. Please order now. To
order, call toll-free 1-800-634-3500 to save all COD charges and pay only $12.98 for records or cassettes or $16.98 for CD, plus $3 shipping. Use your credit card or send check or money order to Floyd Kramer, P.O. Box 5074, Department B, New York, New York. Remember, save COD charges by sending check or money order or use your credit card.
America's doing the Blue Bunny Hop for new Amazon Crunch. People are hopping about the new feature flavor ice cream from Wells Blue Bunny.
Because it tastes so good.
An exotic blend of fresh roasted cashews and Brazil nuts, butter toffee crunch, and caramel ice cream. Pick some up today, because when it's gone, it's gone.
Wells Blue Bunny, the flavor of the heartland. Because it tastes so good.
The beaches of Malibu are being invaded by a group of people you would least expect to find there on weekday mornings. It seems a few LA executives are hanging 10 before they hit the office. Rick Kirkham has a story of the grody yuppies.
I'm aggressive in the water, I'm aggressive out of the water. You know, you reach a certain age and you forget. Well, we're just in the process of remembering.
Malibu Beach, California's infamous haven for those who love to hang 10. The surfers here don't let anything get between them and the waves, not even the occasional 7-foot shark that's reeled in by a local fisherman. But these days, there's a new breed of shark in these waters, the Hollywood sharks, the movers and shakers of Los Angeles who find the morning waves are a great way to start the day. Ted Simmons is a prime example of the executive surfer.
Cosby for the middle of January? Okay.
Ted is a talent agent at the prestigious William Morris Agency in Beverly Hills, the kind of guy you would expect to find on the car phone wheeling and dealing on the way to work. But instead, you'll find Ted on a surfboard before he hits the office.
Ted, what is an executive like yourself doing out here surfing before work?
Hobby, relaxation, and general lifestyle. Try to keep the mind and body healthy and try to keep the stress away from consuming your life.
For Ted and his friends, the only morning meetings they attend are with their legs wrapped around a 6-foot piece of fiberglass. Gavin Grazer is also one of the rare breed of executive surfers.
Talk to you later.
Here's the Pasco story you want.
Oh, great. Thanks, Ken.
An independent film producer, Gavin finds his morning ride with the waves leads to more creative energy.
People picture filmmakers as, like, quote, doing lunch, you know, with the cell phones and busy, you know, playing Hollywood. This is not exactly Hollywood.
I do surfing. That's what we do. I don't know, a lot of the, Hollywood's changed. I think a lot of the executives are getting into surfing now. It's sort of, instead of playing golf and tennis, we're getting into, getting back to nature, I guess.
It's an elite club of white-collar beach bums who choose to talk shop between waves instead of behind a desk.
So do you guys let just anybody surf with you?
Well, no, but Rick, next time you're in town and you want to come down to the beach, I guess it'll be okay with us.
It's well known in Hollywood that social schmoozing can be just as important as the job itself. So when executives like these invite you to leave the boardroom and step on a board, it might not be a bad idea to accept. Besides, yeah, cancel that 5 o'clock meeting. I'll be on the beach.
And it's not just the men who are opting for the sand instead of the morning donut. Pamela Crescent is an executive with Warner Brothers Studios.
Do the guys out here give you any static about being a female on their waves?
No. They're usually pretty good. And as long as they know you can surf, they accept you. But I am unusual.
So, what's the future hold for the executive who can't get enough of early morning surfboarding? Well, this may be going just a little too far.
And if you think it's all play and no work at the beach, 2 of the executives who met while surfing are now planning to produce a movie on surfing. That makes perfect sense. And we'll have more Inside Edition right after this.
Hi, I want to tell you about an improvement so good it comes along once in a blue moon. Eggo Blueberry Waffles, now with more blueberry flavor. For a great big blueberry taste that hits you like a bolt out of the blue. I mean, you could hold your breath till you turn blue, but you won't find a blueberry waffle quite like Eggo. You can actually see how much more blueberry flavor there is. Well, I could talk a blue streak about these, but why not try them for yourself? Eggo Blueberry Waffles, the part of a complete breakfast with a great big blueberry taste. Let me tell you, if you Lego this Eggo, you blew it.
When we surprised Diane Malcolm April 15th, she didn't believe us.
You just won $1 million.
That'd be a catch to this.
But the rest of the family was easier to convince. We're the Prize Patrol from Publishers Clearinghouse, ready to surprise you next month.
Upper back pain, lower back pain, neck pain. There are all kinds of back pain. Extra Strength Tones relieves them all with an ingredient these brands don't have. Relieve back pain with Tones, the back specialist.
The lawyers at your firm sure seem accident prone.
4 dead lawyers out of 41 in less than 10 years.
Can you step in here, please?
I think you've got a serious problem.
Paramount Pictures presents Tom Cruise
They can get to anyone, anywhere.
in the motion picture suspense thriller of the year. What are you doing here?
If we run, they find us.
Based on the #1 bestseller,
Your life as you know it is over.
The Firm, rated R. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
When life in your car gets a little too bumpy, there's only one place to go: Sears. Sears technicians install more shocks on more kinds of cars than anyone else. That's because we have America's largest selection, installation, and lifetime warranties. We're open before work, late at night, Saturdays, even Sunday. For shocks, for struts, there's no reason to go anywhere but Sears Tire and Auto Center. Driven to satisfy.
And here's what's upcoming on Inside Edition.
A lot of people really hate New York City, but Inside Edition takes you to a little village in the Caribbean that just loves New York. They love it while driving these expensive cars. They love it inside these fancy dream homes. And they especially love the New Yorkers they sell illegal drugs to, because drug money is turning this little village into a little Beverly Hills.
That report tomorrow, and that is it for us today. Thanks again for watching Inside Edition. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Hope to see you again next time.
I'm Wally the Beer Man for Budget Liquor. Now buy for less at Budget Liquor. Just look at their complete selection of beers, local, domestic, and import at wholesale prices. Now open to the public. Buy for less. Budget Liquor offers